My mood yesterday was the complete opposite of today. And the situation hasn't changed, right? Like it's all like internal. That's just crazy to me. Anyway, hello. You can call me Hair for now. I am 29 years old. I'm halfway through my 29 years, actually. And I am currently in a very pivotal moment in my life. And I don't know if it's for the best. And I don't know if it's for the worst, you know? This is the most uncertainty I've faced probably ever so far. And it's a little bit scary. To give you a little bit of background, 2 months ago, I quit what I thought was my dream job, which was good. It was awesome. But unfortunately, it started getting really, really bad. And I thought it was gonna get better. And it only started getting worse to the point where it was affecting my mental health. And I quit it. I resigned. I resigned with no plan. I went to Tokyo. I had a great time. And now I'm back to pretty much pick up my life and walk with it. I don't know where, but I'm walking with it. So right now I have this strong mix of faith and hopelessness. I don't even know how to describe it, but that's literally how it feels. So the reason I'm making this video is because I am a person that spends a lot of time in solitude. I do have friends, I do have family, I do my social due diligence to be out and about, but my default mode is, and honestly always has been, solitude. I think to myself a lot, I talk to myself a lot, I'm always analyzing, why do I think this way? What is going on? And like I said, I yap to myself a lot. I talk to myself all the time in the shower, at literally 24/7, I'm always talking to myself. I'm always bouncing ideas off myself. I don't know how to explain, but I'm always yapping. The only difference is that I'm just recording it in hopes that there's somebody out there who can maybe take a thing or two from what I talk about, from what I yap about, and hopefully it's something that can help you. It's something that can probably spark a certain way of thinking, maybe provide you with a different perspective you hadn't reached yet. My goal is to just help at least one person, or at the very least keep you company meanwhile you cook or you do something else and you just play me in the background. That's fine. So pretty much due to my constant yapping, I come to realizations a lot. I constantly have this like aha moments that I interpret into my life, and they actually make a difference even if it's small. So that's actually part of it as well. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a full-blown Christian because I actually just made my way into the faith this year. Earlier this year, I bought my first Bible, I started reading it, I started praying every night, I started having faith, I started pretty much following the philosophy of Christ, the gospel. And first of all, let me say that thing is powerful. I mean, I've been struggling with certain things and I've been through trial and errors. And as soon as I picked up the Bible, as soon as I started talking to God, like I'm doing a lot of good progress. Like I'm still flawed. I'm still a sinner, right? But the exponential growth ever since I picked up Christianity is crazy. And the reason I came through to Christianity is because growing up, I was never really religious, and there was really nobody to impose me to Christianity or church. I was kind of just left to my own devices. So I kind of picked up like philosophy, the universe, yada yada, and eventually it all comes back full circle. And I kind of realized that I was kind of leaning into Christianity all along. It's just that instead of God, I would name it the universe. So when I started reading the Bible and pretty much everything that it teaches, it's just like, oh, it's the same thing I was following. So that was a joy to find. I actually want to start off with prayer and faith, right? Whenever you're reading the Bible and you read about people's hardships and how faith gets it through it, it's really easy, right? To be like, oh yeah, you went through hardship and he persisted. That's what you gotta do. That's what we gotta do. We gotta persist. We gotta persist when time gets hard, and we gotta be strong, and we gotta have faith. We have to have faith. And like I said, it's easy because, you know, you have a job and you have stability, and the worst thing that you have to worry about is how you're going to meet your macros for the day, at least in my case. So it was easy for me to be like, to hype myself up, to be like, yes, faith and mentally strong, and you got to pull through the dark until you see the light. But now And now that I'm actually in moments of uncertainty, like real bad uncertainty too, like now that I'm like, I don't know if I'm cooked or I'm not cooked, like I genuinely don't know, like everything is fog in front of me, I cannot see. Now it's time to put my money where my mouth is, and it's not it's not that easy, but I have been succeeding. I do still have faith. Like I said earlier, I'm in this weird bubble. I'm in this weird combination of I have faith, but I feel hopeless. So how does that look like? I do have this feeling that like, oh my gosh, I am cooked. You know, things are not looking good. Life is not a movie. Life is not like, oh, don't worry, everything's gonna magically be fine. But at the same time, I do think so, right? Just because I'm facing uncertainty and now I'm really actually down bad, my plan doesn't change. My plan to get closer to Jesus doesn't change. My plan to read the Bible every day doesn't change. My plan to pray every night doesn't change. My plan to always still express gratitude for what I do have right now doesn't change. My promises to stay away from sin, like addiction to substances, which I used to have, alcohol, getting drunk, you know, the good old, you know, lust, right? Like all that doesn't change. I've been making substantial progress and I plan to keep it that way no matter how down bad I get. That to me is keeping my faith. I'm still gonna, like, I'm not gonna abandon Jesus. I'm still going to do everything as if everything was going fine. But of course, my prayers are gonna sound different because, well, I'm down bad. I was thinking about this specific example that made me realize something important. So to give some context, my father, God bless his soul, my father is a really understanding man. I've grown my relationship with him. He loves me. He knows what I'm capable of. He knows, you know, I've proven myself to him already. He's proud of me, whether things are good or things are bad. But back then, my dad had this really narrow way of thinking where like you could do 9 things right, but if you do one thing wrong, he'll throw away all your W's and specifically focus on that L and be like, why are you like this? You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, what, really? I have this bad habit of like arguing with myself. I'll make like a dummy figure who disagrees with me in my mind, and then I'll go at it with it. It sucks. Don't do that. So pretty much the way that looked like it is like I was kind of preparing for a fight with my dad, even though he isn't like that anymore. Like, I guess a part of me, like my anxiety just made me prepare for it. And the way it looked like is like, oh, you're losing money, you're using your savings because you don't have a job, you're irresponsible, I cannot believe it, you're lazy. Again, he's not like that anymore, but back then, that's probably what he would have said. And out of nowhere, like, I know it sounds pathetic, but like, I got so mad at that dummy that I created. And I started going at him. It's like, I used to have a full-time job. I used to wake up at 5 in the morning. I used to go work full-time. I used to get off, go to the gym. I would still go home, cook my food, meet my macros. I got shredded because I am shredded. I would still learn Japanese because I did go to Japan. I was able to speak Japanese, and I would still do my hobbies, and I would still do all these things. But now, just because I'm going through a rough patch in life, now suddenly I suck. Have you not seen everything I've done? Have I not proved myself enough? And then when I said that, I literally just stopped. And I just looked through my windshield and I was like, oh my gosh, like, is that how God feels? When we lose faith? Like, is that how God feels when we're always like praising him because like, oh, I have a job, I have this, God bless, have faith. But as soon as we go through something bad, which I will argue we're meant to go through, as soon as we go through something bad, you lose faith. Why is this happening to me? I've been abandoned. And this was literally me yesterday. Like, I was playing tug of war with hopelessness and faith, and hopelessness and faith. And it's like, I should feel this way. And it's like, no, but I feel like this is part of the test. But this is going to suck. This is like the worst I've ever been. It's like, yeah, well, that's kind of the point. And it just struck me. It's like, this is how Jesus feels. He's like, I've given you a job. I gave you the job that you wanted at one point. I gave you the body that you so desired. I gave you the ability to have the luxury to go to a gym. I gave you the food, the nourishment. I gave you financial stability. Everything that you prayed for, you have. And even after all that, just because I'm putting you through a rough patch, you're going to lose faith in me. And I just had this realization. It was like, that's how God feels. And like, it really put it into perspective for me. And it's just so funny. And it really humbled me. Like after that, I kind of just do I still feel some degree of cooked? Of course, but that's just fear talking, right? And fear is natural. But I don't dwell on it anymore. Like it doesn't eat me like yesterday. Like that thing was eating me. I was just literally just sitting there. I was just like, my life is over, bro. Like my life is over. As I know it, but now it's just like, okay, that really helped me gain some perspective. So I genuinely think that it's not fair to lose faith just because God's putting you through something that you probably have to go through. And by that, I'm talking about myself, but if you're going through something similar, don't lose hope fast. You do have a right to feel the way you do. You do have a right to feel like if things are bad, you have a right to feel sad. You have a right to even have some hopelessness. You do have a right. But once those strong, like once that initial strong wave is past, we should still have faith regardless. And you should still keep your word in your relationship with God. That moves on to the next thing that I've been thinking about a lot. So I'm somebody who, whenever I experienced anxiety or fear or uncertainty, I would let them take the wheel. My whole life, I grew up like that. Like if anxiety wanted to run rampant, I would let it. If fear wanted to run rampant, I would let it. Uncertainty, and it was so unhealthy growing up. I never challenged the thought. I never did anything. I was completely complacent, and I would always eat myself alive. For anything that I experienced, done. My mental is gone out the window. And up until recently too, I mean, like I said, like up until like my mid-20s, up until my late 20s, I would still just like, anxiety would show up and be like, I'm gonna tear this thing down. I'm gonna tear this whole place down. And I'm just like, well, yes, sir, I guess. And I recently started to like think how annoying that is. Isn't that so annoying? Like waking up and you immediately feel this weight in your head and this tightness in your chest. Like it's valid, but it's so annoying to the point where like I'm genuinely fed up with it. Now, I personally think that anxiety, fear, uncertainty, they're all healthy, right? Like you can't be complete stoic rock and never feel these things. It's okay to feel these things. You should feel these things. But at the end of the day, there's a certain healthy level that you have to keep it at, because at the end of the day, anxiety is trying to tell you something. Right? Anxiety is trying to point to a problem. Hey, maybe we should do something about this. Chilling. Fear is trying to point out, hey, maybe you should do this so this doesn't happen. Chilling. Uncertainty, right? Uncertainty is like, okay, there's nothing here. Let's walk or something. It's like fear, anxiety, and uncertainty, they're trying to tell you something. I'm actually willing to argue they're not even your enemies, right? But I feel like it's our fault. And by our fault, I mean me and you who might be like me, that we let it run rampant, right? Like the whole point is to, anxiety arises, acknowledge it, okay, on it, boss, and then just put it back down. Fear arises, okay, what are you trying to tell me? Gotcha, all right, I'm on it, boss. And that's it, right? You never, because if you let it go all the way up here, you can tell because you physically feel a weight, right? You feel a weight and it changes nothing. It changes nothing. Whether it's here or here, it changes nothing. When it comes to the outcome, what it does change is like your health and your hair. If bad things are gonna happen to me, right? Like if I'm gonna be put down on the ground, I'd rather have my hair and I'd rather have my health, right? Would you rather be if being put on the ground is inevitable, if that bad thing that's coming is gonna happen to me no matter what, would you rather be down bad with your health and your hair, or would you rather be down bad sick and bald? Well, I'd rather be down bad with my hair and my health, right? So whenever you let anxiety pass that threshold where it's like, okay, like anxiety, it's helpful, and then you cross the line to like, it's just straight up pointless, it's just straight up harmful, it kind of does the opposite. So to give you an idea, I used to have the role of payroll. Like my title was a payroll, I did payroll, and then you had all these responsibilities to do with payroll. On top of that role, there was this call center role that would directly be conflicting with my main duties as payroll. That's the reason why I left. It's such a stupid system. But it would directly conflict with what I was supposed to do, but they would pair it up together. And I use this analogy because when you worry and you let worry get out of hand, it eventually becomes this like oxymoron of a process, because anxiety is trying to tell you, hey, maybe you should do this to prevent this, right? Like fear is trying to tell you, hey, maybe you should do this to prevent this. When you let it get to this straight up unhelpful, harmful level, it's kind of like stopping you, right? And it will do it if you let it. It will do it if you let it. As a matter of fact, that's what it wants to do. It's up to you to keep it in check. But it's this oxymoronic process where like, okay, so you're telling me that we have to do this, but at the same time, you're going to drain my energy to stop me from directly doing what you're asking me to. It's like, which one is it, brother? Right? Like it's like the things that help me is like, you just gotta like confront your anxiety. You gotta tell your anxiety, hey, I see you. I see what you're trying to tell me. I'm on it. Let's bring you back down. You can't just ask me to do something and then take up my energy that directly prevents me from doing what you just asked me to do. Like, how are you helping me? How does that help? Like what are we even doing here? It's just like you look at your anxiety and your fear and it's like, we gotta be like High School Musical, you know? Like, we're all in this together. So right now, my current thing is we just gotta live in the present moment, right? And it's always easier said than done. And there's actually multiple avenues of what it's like to be in the present moment. Now, obviously, high IQ people live in the present moment. Like, yeah, it's good to plan, right? It's good to look in the future and plan. It's good to look in the past and learn, but that's it. High IQ people, high vibrational people, high awareness people, they all live where we're supposed to be in the present moment. Now, if you go out and tell somebody, hey, being in the present moment is good for you, that doesn't mean that they're going to implement it, right? Like, veggies are good for you. People don't eat veggies that much. Like exercise is good for you. Like, not a lot of people exercise, even though you know it's good for you. And, you know, like before this, I was learning how to be in the present moment, right? While I was in my place of comfort, I was learning how to be in the present moment, but it's hard, you know, you slip. When I was in Tokyo, it was a lot easier for me to be in the present moment because I wanted to remember everything. It was already my second time there, but like I still wanted to remember everything. And because I kind of low-key knew, it's like as soon as I go back home, I'm kind of cooked because of my life situation. As soon as I go back home, I'm kind of cooked, so I better just kind of like enjoy this, right? And now that I'm back, I'm actually getting better at living in the present moment and doing the most with what I can now. Not because I know that it's good for me, but because I genuinely have nothing to look forward to. Things are kind of bad where like, I'm not like, if I look into tomorrow, it sucks. If I look into next week, it sucks. If I look into a year, a month, it sucks. It's like downhill from here. Like, I don't know if that's the case, but from the view where I am, from what I feel like, unfortunately, that's kind of how it is. But, you know, so like, it's just funny how I'm learning to be in the present moment because any further than this, it sucks. It sucks. Like, I want to be here while it's still good. So that's something to think about. Yeah, I think it's just funny how people like, there's different avenues of like learning, like to be in the present moment, whether it's good or in my case bad, but hey, if it works, it works, right? Now, there's going to be a lot of people that say that like, oh, well, religion is cope, well, being in the present is cope, and this is cope, and this is cope. Everything is cope. Everything is cope. Saying that things are cope is actually a cope within itself. So if everything is cope, like, why not use coping to your advantage? Like, why not use copes that actually help you? Because there's certainly copes that harm you. There's people that look at people that go to the gym. It's like, oh, they cope because they're insecure. So they just stay and eat junk, right? Okay, well, you're still coping, but you're doing it in a way that harms you. Like, why not just cope in a way that it actually helps you? You know, I'm actually willing to argue that having blind faith will always be better than just straight up dooming. Like, if I'm screwed, I'm screwed. But the difference between just being a doomer, just sitting there in a fetal position waiting for it to happen, while at the same time draining my energy at the time, and the difference between just, hey, I think everything's gonna be okay, even if it's obviously not, right? At least you get to keep your energy for the day, you get to be calm, and then eventually when that actually does happen, the person that had blind faith, it'll still hurt, but at least you'll have your energy to deal with it. You'll be able to bounce back faster, you'll be able to figure it out faster, and you'll be able to pretty much get over it or do whatever needs to be done with that energy that you conserved from living in the moment, from being peaceful. Whereas the guy that just spent all his energy dooming, by the time that a bad thing actually happened, he's done. He already has no energy. That thing's just gonna wreck him, destroy him, gone. Hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby type stuff. So I'm not a guru. I'm just somebody who's trying to figure out my own life and who enjoys consuming these types of videos. So this is just my way to give back. I think I'm gonna be okay. I don't know about my circumstances, but I'll be okay. As long as I just work with what I have, as long as I'm grateful, as long as I'm following my faith, as long as I, keep my eyes on God and keep my eyes on what I can do, I think like it'll be fine. And same for you. If you're going through something and you kind of know you're low-key cooked, or maybe not, maybe, there is some pessimism around my speech. But if you're going through something that's kind of like similar as me, we'll make it. Sooner or later, but we'll make it. I can't promise you that it's not gonna get uglier. Maybe it won't, maybe it will, but it should be fine. As long as you have your best interest in mind, you'll be fine. And that goes for me too. So now we're in this together. Don't let me down.